Good evening, everyone. This is a public meeting of the Lowell Zoning Board of Appeals for July 9, 2012. And I would like to remind everyone, if you plan on speaking on behalf of a petition, that you please sign in with your name and address before addressing the board. Tonight we have 3 petitions before us. Under continuances, under ZB 2012-10, the petition is a special permit for signs. The applicant is Kevin Wong. The property is located at 101 Lakeview Avenue, and the petition is to install new internally illuminated signage, 1 projecting sign for a new restaurant pursuant to section 6.3 of the zoning ordinance. Mr. Wong has communicated to the board, and I'll read this into the record. I am requesting to withdraw my petition without prejudice. I have decided to have a non-illuminated sign instead. Thank you for your time. Kevin Wong. So with that, ma'am, I know you've been here for every meeting. Is there anything you'd like to address? Or? Yep. And did you see the drawings? Yep. Okay, good. You're welcome. Okay. With any comments, questions? Hearing none, can I have a motion?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve ZBA 2012-10 on 101 Lakeview Ave to remove his petition from our board tonight.
Okay, have a second? Have a roll call?
Mr. Bailey?
Approve the withdrawal.
Mr. Belanger?
Withdraw.
Ms. Carino?
Withdraw.
Mr. Perrin?
Withdraw the petition.
Mr. McCarthy?
Okay, that matter has been withdrawn. Our next business is under new business. This is ZB 2012-27. The petition is for a variance. The applicant is Jose Silva. The property is located at 20 Florence Street. The petition is to construct a 24 by 24 garage within the front yard setback pursuant to section 5.1 of the zoning ordinance. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah.
My name is Rich Garcino, and I'm here representing DNR Builders and Jose and Maria Silva.
Okay, thank you. What would you like to tell us about the petition?
Well, the property location is 20 Florence Street, and it's at the corner of Thornton Ave. And I was a former abutter of this property. I lived at 12 Virginia Ave. I was a backyard neighbor to these people. Until March, I sold my house. The history of the subject property is the original owner, Mary DeGrandis. She passed away. She was 104. Her brother was put in charge of selling off the property, and he sold the property to a man by the name of Ralph Hogan, who in 2001, he subdivided the property and sold off the adjacent lot. He created what I call 2 pork chop lots, and each of them were a little over 10,000 square feet, which made them legal building lots. The original house was built in 1960, and it's approximately 1,300 square feet. The grade change from front to rear is approximately 5 feet. The house above grade is about 20 feet in the front and about 25 feet in the rear. There are no curbs on Thornton Ave, so I thought no curb cut would be required, but I guess that's a different terminology than what you people use. So, the new driveway, they want to be pervious asphalt with about 6 inches of pitch towards Thornton Ave, and the property also pitches about 8 inches downhill on Thornton Ave. So the driveway would pitch like both ways. Oops, sorry. And there will be a small berm separating the driveway and Thornton Ave. So there'd be a little lip, so the water that would drain off would stay like on the side of the road.
You're talking the burn would run from the corner of the lot to the driveway? Is that the way you
It
explained
would run along the street and the driveway, would separate both of them.
it? Okay. All right, thank you.
The reason the Silvers, Maria and Jose, want to build this garage is they would like easier access to their home, especially in inclement weather. Maria leaves for work about 5:30 a.m., and it would be a lot easier not to scrape snow and ice from the vehicles. And it would also be easier to bring in groceries, like when it's raining or whatever. And the vehicles would also be safer locked in the garage. I would also like to add, one of the reasons I moved from Virginia Ave is that my wife and I wanted a garage, as we did in all our former houses. And on our 80 by 80 lot, it was virtually impossible to get one. Two of our prospective buyers wanted us to add a garage, and it was kind of a deal breaker. They didn't want the house unless we had a garage. Now, there was a question about there's a little fence that he has, like separating like a garden. He's willing to like lower that fence or move it back so that people will be able to see coming around the corner.
Anything else you'd like to add? Anything else you'd like to add at this point?
No, that's
Okay.
it. Open for questions.
Yeah, I guess what I'll start with, Joe, did this gentleman receive the city engineer's comments today?
Yes, the gentleman received those comments today,
Okay,
as we received them today in our office.
okay. So you saw the comments from the city engineer?
Mhm.
Yeah. Did you just address those comments that the city engineer talked about?
Yeah, it was basically the driveway and what type of driveway and the fence.
So when Mr. Mayo mentions that the proposed driveway is not shown on the plans, what's your comment to that?
The driveway in the front of the house?
No, she's talking about location of proposed driveway.
Oh, location,
She's saying it's not on the plans. That's, in fact, that's her first comment.
okay.
Which is just a comment from the city engineer, and that's why I just wanted to clarify with you. She's talking about the proposed driveway, in other words, where your new garage
Right, okay,
would be
very
going
good.
in.
So we could just indicate that on a plan and,
Well, I also believe in the, some of the pictures we received also, there currently is some type of driveway in that particular area right now.
they park there, there's really not a driveway. It's not hot topped and it's
Right.
just like gravel. It's,
And that's what the
and
city
people have been
engineer.
parking there for years.
Yeah,
They've been
and
parking
that's what the
there.
city engineer pointed out. They didn't call it a driveway, but they said there's existing parking near the same location.
Exactly,
So she's not
exactly.
saying it's, a regular type of hot-topped area. It just looks like an area that somebody might park in.
It's like a side yard right now, and people have been parking there. The former property owners parked there.
Right. So one of the other comments she had was in regards to the size of the driveway. Based on the plan submitted for where the garage would be situated, the driveway doesn't even meet the requirements, a legal-sized driveway. It'll be coming back too far. She also talks about in the future, if there were sidewalks put up. Now, I know that could be forever and ever, but I understand what the city engineer is talking about. I wouldn't focus that much on if there's going to be a sidewalk there. Potentially, there could be someday. I know there's many streets without sidewalks. But I think the point that she's making is plans were submitted. We didn't receive any formal plans on the particular driveway, and the way it's situated right now, you definitely don't even meet the requirements.
Right, okay, I see.
So if you're not meeting the requirements on the driveway, that kind of sets things in motion now about where the garage would be situated, and would you be able to move the garage, obviously, back or to the side and back in order to fit this in?
The way the lot is shaped, it
Yep.
keeps, it has like it has an odd shape to it. It tapers down, and the more you'd move this back, the closer you are to the back lot line.
Yep. Okay.
And another reason, they already have a deck in the back, and there's like a picture window there.
Yep.
And they didn't want to like cut that up. It would impact on the way the house looks and the, the size of the deck.
So the existing deck, was there going to be any modification to the deck in order to add on the garage?
Very little.
Yep.
Very little. They'd like to keep it the way it is, because the way they come out right now, it's right there, and they'd like to leave it that way.
Yep. And I know you mentioned kind of the history of the home. How long have the Silvers been there?
The home has been there since 1960, but
But how long have the Silvers lived
oh,
there?
they've been there for a year? Yeah, almost a year, last October.
Okay, yep,
I moved out shortly after they moved in.
okay. So do you understand the city engineer's comments here? Okay, all right.
He, Mr. Silva said if they did park in the driveway, the cars would either be in the garage or they'd be at work, but if anyone parked in the driveway, they would park the long way.
Yep,
Or they have plenty of land on the side of the property. It's, the way the lot is shaped, there's a lot of room in between them and the next neighbor down.
right, right. And we also received communication from the transportation engineer, which I think you kind of touched on regarding the fence. Okay.
Yes.
And you were, you had stated that, you'd be willing to do some
He'd move it back,
modification to the
so
fence.
they'd be able to see coming around the corner.
Yep, okay. Okay, anything else before I open it up? Okay, that's fine. Thank you, sir. I'm going to open it up to the public. Is there anyone here that'd like to speak in favor of this petition? In favor, in favor? Hearing none, that portion of the public hearing is closed. Anyone like to speak in opposition? Opposition, opposition. Hearing none, that portion of the public hearing is closed. Going to open it up to the board. Dennis?
Yes.
Thank you, Dennis. Gary?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, just a Couple of quick notes. I also share the same concerns about that 9.5 feet to the city street, and in the event if there was sidewalks put into place in that area, you'd have to come before us again, we'd have another zoning issues that would relate to a curb cut and a sidewalk and being encroaching into public safety. The other question I do have, and I'm noticing is 24 by 24, two-car garage. It seems, when I look at it to scale to the house and to the addition, it does seem rather large to the neighborhood scale. Was there any thought?
The property does drop in the rear, so it
Yeah.
wouldn't appear as big from looking at it on Thornton Ave, which is the only place you'd see it.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the neighborhood as well. I'm a neighborhood guy. The only question I had, was there any consideration of scaling down the size to a possibility of a one-car garage to satisfy the need on both sides here? Is there any thought to that, or was this just one plan, one thought?
One car garage as opposed to They would like to build a two-car garage.
Okay.
but
No, I was just, I certainly understand that.
They'd do one, I
Yeah,
guess.
no,
The
I-
rear would get the garage.
Yeah, no, I certainly understand. I was just,
They would like a two.
24 by 24 is, the kind of number jumps out at you in this setback.
It's gonna blend in with the house and the neighborhood. It's
Okay.
gonna be the same color roof and the same color siding and everything. Everything's gonna blend in, like aesthetically.
Okay. One question I do have, and you made a comment earlier as it relates to the elevation,
Mm-hmm.
and I was reading, so I apologize for not fully hearing you. You said there was Correct.
This is like a
A
5-foot drop
5-foot
from the
drop.
front of the property to the back.
okay, and that drainage would fall off to Thornton Avenue on the backhand side, correct?
Yes, so it's the way the roof is shaped, it would actually drain to the side of the property,
Okay.
side of their own property.
All right. And would there be any plans for a drainage on that side for
It's,
For
what's
runoff?
there is now is like gravel.
Gravel, yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's
Okay.
a problem with the drainage. It seems to drain pretty good. I used to be in a butter to the property, so I don't think we've ever had any problems.
Okay, you would know. Okay, thank you. I was just concerned about if there was gonna be any additional runoff with the
Yeah.
land going down that particular side. I have no further questions at this time, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Corey?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chairman. I was by there this afternoon, and one thing I did notice, that the Silvers do have a nicely maintained home, and surely,
You couldn't ask for better neighbors than these.
Yeah.
They're very neat, inside and out.
okay, well, yeah, I can see, it looked great. The
Yeah.
property looked spectacular, and I'm sure they're good neighbors, and, but, I do share the same concerns as the other board members, that, this is a rather large garage for the neighborhood. And with the driveway, there's no definitive driveway on the plan. We got a little over 9 feet before the street. There's potential of those cars in the drive, if they're not in the garage, could be almost in the street. And that won't be, that's a big safety issue there. But how about, this 24 by 24, that's, in all intents, is a 4-car garage, am I right?
Not really, because in there, they need a set of stairs to get up, and there's that 5-foot
Okay.
of climb that you have to get from the garage floor up into the house. So now that creates a need for at least 3 feet or so in the back of the garage to have a stairway. And 24 feet, garage doors are like 9 feet wide, and then to have the room to open the door on both sides, 24 by 24 that's what I have right now, and it's just enough room.
Okay, but I would like to see it either, brought back a little bit from the street to make that buffer a little bigger than 9 feet, It's just, I'm not very comfortable with that. I do want to help them. I do want to see something there for these people. I know what they're trying to accomplish, and I want to help them in one sense, but it just wouldn't be fair to the neighborhood, and it is a safety issue if I would allow, a little over 9 feet to the street. It just doesn't go over too well. Is there potential of cutting a few feet off, where you could still get 2 cars in and have your 5-foot buffer? Is there possible setting it back or cutting a few feet and maybe
So-
24 by 18 or 20 to give us 5 or 6 extra feet, which could be all the difference in the world here? Is that possible?
So if we moved it back to like 11 feet from the street, that would be,
Oh, I'd like to see a little more than 11. Well, you
I
got,
mean, if this were like a regular lot and it wasn't a corner lot, the side would be 10 feet anyway. And this, because it's a corner lot, you're considering it 30 feet like both ways.
well, I'd like to
So-
make room, as the chairman stated, the potential for sidewalks is, possible but not probable. I think we all know that on the
Doubt it.
street, but, if with only 11 feet even, if potentially if sidewalk ever did go, you'd be encroaching on that. And then these homeowners would have a serious problem on their hands, so.
Right.
That's, we have to think down the road here as well, so. I'd like to see it backed up or cut down where, over 11 feet, I need to see it, like maybe 13 and up, to give a nice buffer there so they can get right up to the garage door and wouldn't be encroaching on the street or potential sidewalk, again, not probable, but that's how I feel. I want to help them, but I think this needs to be set back a little bit somehow. That's all I have to say, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Corey. Melissa?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to mention, I appreciate that the applicant was willing to lower the fence after getting some of the comments from the city. However, I do echo a lot of the concerns that have been already shared on the board. I don't believe that what's presented to us now is going to meet the prerequisites for a variance, and I also agree that scaling back is something that could be more feasible for me to approve, I think this board to approve, but also for safety and other reasons that Corey mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Ben?
That way it doesn't infringe onto the street or the possibility of a sidewalk. So if you can in some way just make it a little smaller or some more manageable in size, it'll be better off, I think, for you down the road and for the city and for everybody. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Van. I guess a question I'll come back with. Do you have the dimensions for the existing, I guess I'll call it the side room that runs off the main building that's on that corner?
That little side room is 10 by 15, 10 going out towards Thornton.
Then, at the other street.
Oh, 10 going that way, and 15, okay, 10 by 15.
Okay.
10 going towards Thornton.
So, we were provided with an aerial view of the property, and if I take a look at that, and then I also take a look at the deck obviously is a pretty good-sized deck. It pretty much takes up half the home and back there. So, I think the members of the board are kind of struggling with the size of the actual garage. And I also, did you provide this overview here?
Their son-in-law.
Okay, yep. I mean, if you take a look at what was given to us, I think the garage, and I think this is where Department of Planning and Development is coming from also, the garage almost overtakes that whole side of their property. And you had mentioned, is that going to be the actual design of the garage?
Yes.
Okay. So it looks like,
It kind of touches the house for
Yeah.
a little bit.
Well, and that's what I was trying to figure out, the real design here. It looks to me like accessing the garage, in other words, the back of the garage, is that tied in somehow?
There'll be a set of stairs that takes you in the back of the garage. That's why we need kind of the extra footage. It takes up a little bit more than 3 feet of the back of the garage. So now it leaves you inside the garage, it probably leaves you at about 20 feet.
Yeah.
Cars could be 19 feet long. So now you've got to almost touch those stairs or the landing and to get the car in
Well, on
on that
again,
one side.
based on what was given to us tonight that came with the petition, I think this proposal, just, the size of the garage obviously is an issue for us, and it's causing issues. The size of the garage with the character of the neighborhood, the driveway length, because based on what is proposed here, to modify this, I think you have an awful lot of work to do to
Yeah.
try to meet the requirements. That's why, again, when I looked at this is a little bit different than what we normally would receive. It's good that something was submitted. Sometimes we don't receive
Yeah.
anything at
Yeah.
all. But I don't know if this really did you any justice by submitting the way you did. That's why I wanted to ask about, is this
Yeah.
the actual design?
It's pretty much the way it's going to be,
Yeah,
though.
okay.
I mean, it was pretty,
No,
he
and
did a good job.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
I was,
So again, I guess I'll ask what a few of the members have asked, would you consider any modification to the proposal?
they want a garage.
I understand that, but I
So,
think this board is going to struggle with the size, sir,
Yeah.
to be quite honest with
I
you.
mean, if it has to be scaled down, I guess it will have to be.
I think what I would
They
like,
want a garage.
I understand, but I think what this board is trying to do is, I'm trying to give you the opportunity, if you would like to maybe re-review this.
Do you want to scale the garage down to a different size?
I can cut 2 feet back.
So make it 11 feet from the street?
Yeah, make
11 and a half feet from the street?
No. We leave the same weight. And we cut in the garage back. Be 24, like 22.
22 feet deep by 24 wide.
Yeah, if you can.
They're willing to move the garage back 2 feet,
Okay, so,
making it 22 feet by
Yep.
24
okay,
feet.
if you can give me a minute. So Joe, a question for you procedurally. If the applicant wants to revise his plans, is it advisable that maybe they work with DPD first during this revision? Because what I'd like to do is, if they want to proceed and do some revisions and come back before us, we can continue this. But I'd also like to see if they could work with you. Would that be permissible?
Yeah, absolutely. They could
Yep.
come and meet with Aaron and myself or other staff and talk about different options available on the site, whether it be, even a side entrance to the garage, maybe to alleviate some concerns, or scaling the garage down
Yep.
based on feedback from the board, or moving it back. There could be a different couple options that could be explored.
Well, I guess I'm asking that because obviously I'd like to satisfy the city engineer's comments and the other comments from the other departments from the city. In other words, I'd like to hear to come back, if you're willing to revise your plans, but also work with DPD. In other words, not have to be faced with a few more obstacles again when you
Right,
come in. So that I would like to leave the opportunity open to you. If you want to do that, come back, we'll continue this. We can give you as much time as possible, that we don't have to do this in the next 2 weeks. So if you're willing to do that, how much time would you feel that you need? You can have as much time as you
We could
want.
put it on for the next meeting if you're
Okay?
willing,
If you,
because I'm sure we could.
if you feel like you have the opportunity to do that,
Sir, that's 2 weeks from tonight. You were on
Now, would we, at 11 feet, 11 and a half feet, let's say, from the street, if we moved it back 2 feet, would that be something that everyone would?
Well,
Here would agree
I'll
on
speak for
without the
myself.
engineer?
I'll speak for myself.
Okay.
That's why I'm asking that maybe you work this with DPD.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yes,
I
okay,
think that will alleviate a lot of, potential obstacles. Again, I'm not saying, this is going to be a done deal.
Right.
Back with Vusion. But I think if you work with DPD,
Mm-hmm.
we might be able to at least assist the Silvers.
yeah.
All right, sir?
Before I came tonight, I was told 2 different things. One was by someone that told me that as long as none of the neighbors showed up and they were jumping up and down screaming, it'd be a done deal. And another builder actually today told me, if you don't show up there with a lawyer and a bunch of other professional people, you have no chance.
Well, I think you found they're both wrong.
Okay,
Okay, so our next meeting would be July 23rd. Again, you feel that that gives you enough time to come back with a new set of plans, sir?
yes,
Okay. So, Joe, I want to ensure that, we receive the plans before the next meeting. So that kind of cuts your time back a little bit more. I want each of the board members to have time to look at the revision. So you can work that out with DPD, but, I don't want to get it on the day of the meeting. So again, if you feel 2 weeks is fine. that's
okay,
with-
we'll do it. We will do it.
You'll do it, okay. All right, so I'm going to ask for a continuance to, or can I have a motion for a continuance to July 23rd?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, and the matter before us is ZBA 2012-27 at 20 Florence Street. Make a motion to approve a continuance to the July 23rd meeting.
Have a second? Have a roll call?
Mr. Bailey?
Continue to July 23rd.
Mr. Belanger?
Continue till July 23rd.
Ms. Carino?
Continue to July 23rd.
Mr. Perrin?
Continue to July 23rd.
Mr. McCarthy?
Okay, sir, we'll see you on July 23rd. Appreciate it, thank you. Okay, the next matter before us is under new business. This is ZB 2012-28. It's a special permit for signs. The applicant is Richard Ong. Property is located at 1141 Bridge Street. The petition is to install new internally illuminated signage for Berry Rich frozen yogurt and other tenants pursuant to Section 6.3 of the zoning ordinance. Is there a representative, or is Mr. Ong here? Good evening, sir.
My name is Richard Ong, and my family, we own the property on 1141 Bridge Street. We're interested in putting up an internally illuminated sign facing the Bridge Street as well as facing the parking lot. The reasons why is because we feel that it would offer us higher visibility and it'd also be consistent with the other plazas. And there's also a AutoZone across the street. They also have internally illuminated lighting. Right now, we're the Berry Ridge is the only tenant right now, and we'd like to attract future tenants. And we feel like with a better visibility, that could be very feasible.
Okay.
We also got a letter from DPD, Rachel, and she said that that the signage meets the that they had no objections with the dimensions of the signage.
So you're stealing my thunder.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know I can speak for myself. Took a ride out there and, in fact, parked across the street where you mentioned about the auto business that's across Street AutoZone, where this board obviously approved that signage over there. I must say the building is very impressive looking, even though it sits sideways. It's very architecturally desirable. And looked over the plans, and I appreciate the renderings that were given to us. It explains to me exactly what we're looking at, where the signage will be. And as you mentioned, I wish Rachel was here tonight, but if you can pass muster with Rachel, you must be doing pretty good. Because whether you know it or not, signs are always a real challenge for this board.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I appreciate the drawings, and obviously the frozen yogurt business seems to be a new venture for a lot of people. So
Yep.
it's good to see another new business coming into the city. Do you have anything else you want to add, sir?
Just that.
Okay. All right. I'm going to open it up to the public right now. Is there anyone here that'd like to speak in favor of this petition? In favor? In favor? Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, member of the board. My name is Vesna Noon. I live in 10 Gibson Road. Chairman mentions that this petition came before, actually this plaza came before you, Mr. Chairman, 3 years ago, and the board have granted them a permit to build this plaza. It's a wonderful plaza. I know the Yang family for many years. They are good business people. They owned business on Middlesex Street, on Brent Street, and the plaza, due to the economy, was unable to rent or lease it to the tenant at this time. Richard is the son of the owners. Richard and his sister both went on to college, and they graduated from college due to, again, to the economy. Couldn't really able to find a job, so they took on these ventures. I said, you're crazy, but I guess they're going to prove me wrong in the next couple of years, the frozen yogurt business. Richard and his sister going to be the first occupant of this 4 or 5 unit plaza, Mr. Chairman. And the proposed signage actually consistent with the business surrounding areas. And I know that if the chairman and member of the board are concerned about I know the practices at the closing time and the turn off and all that, they're willing to accommodate or the board wish on this. And I wish very much to support Richard and his sisters in this business. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, member of the board. Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak in favor? In favor? Yes, sir.
Sir, my name is Charles Raz. I'm representing the property as well. I just wanted to add my support in terms of the signage. I think it will match the other signage in the neighborhood, shops next door and across the street, and add a consistency to that neighborhood. And having the ability to put the similar kind of signage on the other tenants' property will also, I think, give some value to the property owners in being able to lease that more quickly and to add some additional jobs perhaps in those tenants. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. All right, anyone here that's like to speak in opposition? Opposition, opposition. Hearing none, that portion of the public hearing is closed. Going to open it up to the board. Dennis.
Meets size-wise, but doesn't match the building architecture, and I think that this is a good example of supporting that. And I'm excited about frozen yogurt, so I wish you success. Thank you.
I wish you'd leave your personal comments to yourself over there. Gary?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I think it's a wonderful project set forth out there on that site. You did a great job with the property. The building is in great shape, obviously. The scale of size, as my colleague mentioned, is exactly what we're looking for. The package submitted tonight is exactly what we've been looking for signage from this board, from petitioners for a long time coming, and I do appreciate how well prepared you are. Having another business in the city, Mr. Noon mentioned this would be a third business in the city. I think I can commend you and your family for continuing to open businesses in the city. I think that is something that we need throughout the entire city, is people to stay here and do business here and flourish here, and I wish you the best of luck. That being said, I'm just curious about your hours of operation and your intention for the hours of illumination.
Most likely, we'll have it lit between 8 p.m. to, what's that? 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. And I think Market Basket, their plaza, theirs is illuminated till midnight, I believe. And the hours of operations are from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m.
So he's asking till
10
midnight?
p.m. So you're asking to have the light illuminated till midnight, until the entire plaza is closed?
Most likely till 11. Is that okay? 11 p.m.?
I'm asking for your intentions, that, if
Yes.
the plaza is open, the plaza lights are open till midnight. If you're gonna be open until midnight, I'm just trying to set a parameter for condition of hours of illumination.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'd like to set a condition, Mr. Chairman, the hours of illumination not to exceed midnight.
Very good.
And that's all I have. Good luck.
Okay, thank you. Corey?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I agree with my colleagues. I was down there today, and the building looks beautiful, really. Outstanding job you did with the building itself, and I commend you, and I wish you the best on recruiting new tenants. I know it's not easy out there with this economic environment, so I do support the project. I think, that area of Bridge Street is looking more and more like a modern shopping district every day, and it's really pleasing, so I do support it, and I wish you the best. But so you own the building too as well, sir, your family?
Just my parents.
Your parents do now?
Yes.
Well, I'd like to offer some assistance down the road. Now, you have, 4 other units in there?
Yes.
Well, and you'll be needing signage for them too as you occupy this building, correct?
That is correct, yeah.
So I'd like to save some, Mr. Chairman, what measures can we take so that these 4 tenants, I think this board would like to review the signage and hours of operation, but, to save some time and expenses, and is it possible to do something for the future when tenants occupy these other 4 units? Is that possible to help this individual out?
Well, we can handle it like we did with the Demoulas, I'll call it project, not that it was Demoulas project, but with the numerous storefronts that they had, the first couple, we kind of went through a deliberative process, but then the agreement was any new tenants down the road, what we would condition as a administrative review. In other words, any new tenant that comes in, that you come in with a set of, at least I'll call it plans of what the sign is going to look like. Mm-hmm. Then we can take a look at it that night. It's to speed up the process, since we would be approving tonight, if passed, it's 5 units, right? Or is it 4? Yeah. 5 units?
There's 5 units total.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
All 5 units. That way, each new tenant that comes in will need somebody to, either the tenant herself or the owner, like yourself, could come in and just show us the proposal, what's going to be put up there.
Okay.
All right, sir?
Yeah, I think
So
that's-
we can do administrative review for a condition.
Yes, I think that would fit well in this situation too, Mr. Chairman, rather than each shop owner coming in advertising, and I think that's a great situation there for the future tenants and for yourself, so I think we should make that a condition as well. So I'm all for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Melissa?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also like this application and support it. I don't have any additional questions or concerns that haven't been mentioned already, but I do agree with the conditions that have been previously mentioned. Thanks.
Thank you. Van?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say that the sign is a good-looking sign. It's evenly proportioned to the building, and the color scheme is really, it's subtle, but it's really, it's good and reflective. And I think that, you know, you open your business low, it's great. It's a great thing. And thank you so much, Mr.
Thanks.
Wish you best of luck. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yep, thank you, Van. Okay, so I'm obviously in agreement with my other board members regarding the project. We've talked about two conditions that I've heard so far. One would be a administrative review for new tenants that come before us for signage. And the second would be the hours of illumination. Now, I just want to be clear on what time we're going to ask you for the illumination to cease. Are we talking about midnight, 11 p.m.? What I wasn't really clear on what you were indicating.
We'll do 11 p.m.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so the illumination not to exceed 11 p.m. Okay. Any other conditions or comments? Okay, hearing none, I'd like to have a motion, please.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, ZBA 2012-28, location 1141 Bridge Street for illuminated sign, with the following conditions. 1, the hours of illumination not to exceed 11 p.m. And 2, an administrative review for all new tenants petitioning a sign would be required to submit a set of plans prior to approval to this board.
Okay, can I have a second?
I'll second that.
And can I have a roll call?
Mr. Bailey?
Approved with conditions.
Mr. Belanger?
Approve with conditions.
Ms. Carino?
Approve with conditions.
Mr. Perrin?
Approve with conditions.
Mr. McCarthy?
Approved with conditions.
Okay, Ms. Song, you've been approved with conditions. Wish you the best of luck. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman. Where?
Okay, our next matter before us is under other business, and these are for the minutes of June 25th. Any questions or comments in regards to the minutes? Hearing none, I'd like to have a motion.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the minutes for the ZBA of June 25th.
Could I have a second?
Second the motion.
Roll call.
Mr. Bailey?
Approved.
Mr. Belanger?
Approve.
Ms. Carino?
I'm going to actually abstain since I wasn't at that meeting.
All right. Mr. Perrin?
Approve.
Mr. McCarthy?
Approved.
And Mr. Peck?
Approve.
Okay, minutes been approved. Without any other matters before us, I'd like a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
A second?
Second.
So moved.